Good to go.
All right. So let's see. I'm sorry, Lillian, did you want to kick it off?
Yeah, thank you. Hey everyone, welcome back to another live community classroom with Michaels. Today we have Tamara from Moogly with us ready for another exciting class. And as she said, today we'll be learning the basics of latch hooking using our puppy Wonderart Kit. My name is Lillian from Yarnspirations and I'll be helping with any questions you might have during today's class. So feel free to ask questions in the chat here and be sure that Tamara answers them. While we're giving you some time to join the class, feel free to let us know where you're watching from. And just a reminder that today's class is being recorded and you can find the recording at michaels.com/classes. Back to you.
All right. Well, thanks so much. And thank you all for joining me this evening. I hope you're having a good night. So like I say, today we're going to be talking about latch hook. And this kit in particular makes an 8" by 8" square. But things I'm going to teach you today, you can apply to any latch hook kit you want. You don't have to make this puppy. It's very cute, but they have some really gorgeous ones on there too that can be quite sophisticated and quite complex. But this is a great one for getting started. And it's also great for kids. I started latch hooking back in we won't say the decade, we'll say my youth. In my childhood, I learned how to do this. So this is also a great one to do with your kids. If you've got kids to craft with, it's always a great option. So we're gonna go ahead and go to the overhead camera, and I've laid out some of the supplies here. Now, some of these things are included in your kit, and some of them are things that you need to add to the kit. Inside your kit, I'm gonna set this aside right now, you'll get this grid right here. They call that the canvas. You'll also get these instructions, and it's not just picture, it's a whole set of instructions here, including how to latch hook. If you like to learn by photos, they have some great photos there. And then you'll also get the yarn itself. And this is rug yarn. So you have all the yarn you need to make this project. And you can see, I'm gonna hold it up just a little bit closer here for now. You can see there's lots of colors in there. So let's go ahead and we're gonna go through sort of setting this all up one step at a time. And the first thing I like to do is get my canvas ready. And you can see here, I've already put masking tape around 3 sides of this canvas. I've left the 4th one for us to do it together. Now I have some fancy masking tape here that's got measurements on it, but you can use, any household masking tape you like, whatever you've got laying around. Of course, the challenge is always finding that end, isn't it? There we go. So we find the end of our masking tape, and you just want to tape off the edges of your canvas. And the reason we do this is because they're just they're a little pokey. They're unpleasant. They're meant to be. They're nice and stiff, which is a good thing, but you don't want that catching on your clothes or on your project or anything while you are working with it. So I'm just going to stretch that right over, put it about halfway down, and tape that down, and then just fold it right over the edge to secure that edge of our canvas here. There we are. So I'll just fold that down, and then all our ends will be protected. Now, you don't need to worry about taking up the grid or the canvas with the tape, because there is more than enough space on this canvas to make your project. You will be able to cut plenty off the edges. You can center it however you like, so you've got lots of edges there to work with. This is just to keep them nice and neat while you are working with it. The other thing I wanted to tell you, excuse me, about this canvas is that it does, of course, come all folded up. We saw that box here. You can see to fit in the box, it's got to get folded up. So when you first take it out of the box, it can be really, really folded. I put this one under just a couple of heavy books for a few days, and that really helped flatten it out, and that'll make it a lot easier to work with. So that's how you get set up with the grid. Like I say, any old masking tape or any tape that that'll be easier to remove that you've got laying around. If you've got a thick washi tape, that could work too. And then the other thing, like I say, you've got included is the instructions. So here are those instructions. Now, as I said, here we've got a page that show you pages, I should say, that show you how to set it up and how to actually do the latch hooking. But today, these are the 2 pages of the instructions we're going to be looking at. There is a legend, and I'll come in for a close-up here in a little bit. But if you've got your latch hook kit, you can see you have a legend for your kit. And that goes through all the colors that you'll be using and how many strands. Let me pull that up a little closer here. See if I can get that to focus. There we go. And how many strands. So you can see there a little bit of what that looks like. And I also want you to notice those symbols right there, those colored boxes. Those are the ones that correspond to our grid over here. And that will tell us which yarns to work in each space. Now, as I said, there's also the yarns included, all already pre-cut and measured, enough to make your project. But the things you'll want to add that aren't included are a latch hook, like this. This is what a latch hook looks like. I've got a couple of them here. You can see this one outside of the package has a bent neck. We'll call it a neck. I don't know if that's the official term, but that's what we'll call it. And this one is straight. This is just personal preference, whatever feels good in your hand. Whatever you happen to have on hand is fantastic. Whichever you like works equally well. So whichever sort of latch hook you have, if you have one, go ahead and use that. Don't worry about whether or not it has a bend in it. And then the other thing I want to recommend that you grab is a muffin tin or something like this. I actually, full credit, I have to give credit to Vicki Howell. She had this fantastic idea that I really loved because we need to sort out these yarns by color. We want to make sure that we don't mix up like our light blues with our darker blues and our light browns with our darker browns. And if we dumped all these into a bucket, it would be really easy to get those mixed up. So by using something like a muffin tin or whatever you might happen to have, you can start separating these by color. So what we want to do is just really carefully look for those colors that are different so we can separate out our darker blues from our lighter blues and all the colors that we're going to need for our project. And sometimes with some of the kits, it can be a little harder to tell, you know, which one's a light blue, which one's on dark blue. But if you remember when we were looking at that legend over here, there's a number of strands listed for each color. So that can be a big clue too. So if you say, oh my gosh, I've got, you know, 2 greens or something in my kit, and there's a whole bunch of one and a whole bunch of the other, but I can't tell, you know, how many I'm supposed to have or which one is which, then you can actually count the number of strands you have to help match that up. So I'm just going to separate some of our strands out here to get us started. But of course, on your full kit, you'd want to take the time to really get a separate section for each of these colors. So if you guys have other ideas, I tried to think of other things besides muffin tins that you could do this sorting in, but I didn't really come up with any ideas off the top of my head. I feel like this is the sort of thing that people just have laying around the house, most likely, compared to some other things that you might have. So if you've got some other great ideas for sorting out these yarns, containers that you can put them in, absolutely please do share those in the comments. I would love to see them myself. So we're going to go ahead and stop there with our sorting. I would say if it comes with 4 rolls, it's because it's a bigger kit. So I would say go ahead and sort them all at once if you want to, or you can do them a little bit at a time. Kind of depends on how your pattern goes. If you need, you know, a bunch of one color right up front, you might want to do them all at once. If it's easier for you to do them one at a time, totally up to you. For now, I'm just going to go ahead and stop there so we can move on with our project today. So after we have sorted the yarn, like I say, we can refer to those colors, and you can also, excuse me, take your yarn and just match it right up. Again, if you're having any questions about what color you should be using in that particular grid. Excuse me. So now let's take a look at these written instructions. I'm going to have Raina bring me back to the face camera because I'm going to actually move my hand camera down a little bit. I don't want to make everybody seasick while I move this. So if you give me just a moment here, I want to just move this on down so we can get a nice close up. Ooh, there we go. And get that right in place. Okay, all right, thank you. Now we can go back to hand camera. All right, zooming in. All right, Lillian, before I get started on reading the grid and working into our canvas, were there any questions I could answer that have popped up so far?
The only question we had was Susan asked about whether she should sort all 4 rolls at one time, which you've answered with yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, it's kind of up to you. You have to look at the project and see what you need.
Yeah, there were a couple of ideas about other things to use apart from a muffin tin.
Great.
Nancy suggested using an egg carton.
Oh, there you go.
Brilliant.
That'd be a great one.
Yeah, and Raina said she would use ramekins because that's what she has on hand.
Absolutely. Another great ideas. Thank you, guys. Those are great. Yeah, whatever you have, you know, tiny Dixie cups, whatever you've got laying around the house, I guess. So, okay, so now let's go ahead and take a look here at our pattern. This is a grid for our project, and because this is an 8x8 project, it's a nice big grid. I suspect, you know, the bigger the project, the smaller the grids are going to be. So keep that in mind. Go ahead and move that yarn out of the way here before I knock it off the table. But what I want you to see are these blue lines. Can you see how on this grid for our project, they're broken up here into sections. And each of these blue grids is 10 by 10. And if we look at our canvas, Lo and behold, we've got a 10 by 10 grid. So we can match what's on here to what's on here. It's kind of like, I don't know, again, might be dating myself here, but when I was small and you used to sort of do those pictures in the kids' activity books where you'd have to match square to square, and they'd give you that little grid. You could just draw what was inside the grid, and it was supposed to make a beautiful picture when they're done. This is kind of the same thing. So you can focus on just one section at a time and not lose your place inside the whole. Now, the other thing that you might want to get is a pen or pencil or something like that, so that as you do work off these rows, you could, or even each individual one, you can mark them off if you like. Again, this one's pretty simple, but on a great big project, that might be something you want to do. Okay, so now we've got our grid, right? So we know this works into here. And this is, I think, the trickiest part of figuring out latch hook when you're just getting started, because I'm going to bring this up front here. There we are. If you look at this grid, I'm going to put my hand behind it so it's a little easier to see with the white grid on the white table here. We've got 10 squares across and 10 squares up, right? But you can't just attach yarn to this hole in the middle. So what I want you to think of is I want you to think of each of these squares as the place where you insert your latch hook. Then you're going to come up under the bar above it when we do our actual latch hooking. So that will help you visualize a little bit. So you don't have to worry about like, well, gosh, you know, what part of that grid am I going to work into? Think of that square as where you enter with your latch hook. So before we get started adding any of our yarns, let's go ahead and take a closer look at the latch hook itself. Okay. So we've got our handle. Nice, right? And then we've got the hook up here, and then we've got this flappy bit, the latch, I guess you'd say. And this should be on the outside of the hook, right there. And this is what's going to help us catch that yarn and pull it back through our canvas. So how do we use it? I'm going to do it first without the yarn. I'm going to hold this up a little closer here and let it get a good focus. All right. So what we do is we find on our grid where we want to begin. And like I say, if you look at here, you can see we've got plenty of room. So we can just go ahead and start here in our bottom left corner. We're going to insert our hook right in that square. And when we come up under the top of that square, we want to push our hook up and through. And you can see that latch is down and it's pointing down right now. And when I'm going to pull my hook back through, we want that latch to catch and close so that when we pull back through, it's closed. So let's do that again before we add the yarn. We're going to go into that first square, go up under, above, and as we push through, that'll push that latch on the hook down right there. Kind of hard to see right there. There we go. And then when we pull it back through, that latch is going to catch and close and hold on to our yarn as we pull it through. Okay, so that's the basic motion. Now we just need to add yarn. And if you haven't done it before and you don't want to break into your kit, you can absolutely grab some scrap yarn if you have some, cut it to some shorter lengths, and practice over here in a corner or in another part of your grid that you know isn't going to be part of your project. So that is a great way if you want to just go ahead and practice a little bit before you actually start using your kit. So let's go ahead and add the yarn. Now, as I said, our instructions say we start at the bottom left corner, and this is the same whether you're right-handed or left-handed. If you want to go a different direction, it's up to you, but this is the way the instructions say to do it. So we need to look here at our bottom left corner and see what we're going to start with. If we come over to our legend, we can see the blue square with the triangle is our medium blue right there. And if we have any questions on which one is the medium blue, we can grab one of those blues from our tin over here. They all want to come. There we go. And just hold it up. You can see that is a pretty good match there. It's a lot darker than that one. So that's the right one. So now we know that one. So we know that's going to be our first one. So let's go ahead and add that piece of yarn. There we are. Get ourselves centered. Now what I like to do, and everybody likes to do this part a little differently, but I'm going to go ahead and insert my hook just like I did before. I'm going to put it right in that first square and right up under the bar above and push it all the way up. And then I can just hold my canvas like that while I grab my yarn. Oops, there we go. Get that on camera there. And I'm going to move this over a little bit here so we're centered. Wrap that yarn around the base of the latch hook and fold it over so that it's about halfway here. You want them to be pretty much the same length there. I'm going to give that a pinch. And then I'm going to go ahead and pull this up, and I want to lay it over. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can get a little closer here. I want to lay this over the latch hook, but under the hook itself. So if you need to, sometimes these yarns can feel a little short. You can start that little motion right there. You see how that latch is coming up? Lay, my finger's out of the way there, lay the yarn over that latch. And as you pull through, you can see that close right up over those yarns. We're going to pull that right back down like we did before. Let me get those yarns in there. There we go. And pull it right through that loop. That'll give us these two tiny little ends. We want to grab those right away and give those a really good tug. Yank up on both of those nice and tight. And that is it. Our yarn is attached. Now, what happens if you make a mistake? It's going to happen. It happens all the time. We all make mistakes. That's when you want to grab something. I have a yarn needle here. If you don't have a yarn needle, you could use something like a safety pin. Just something so that you can pick apart that little loop right there. You can see. Just go ahead and lift up on that a little bit. And with a little bit of finagling and wiggling here, that loop and that yarn comes right back off. So whatever you've got that's nice and pointy that you can get under there and sort of wiggle that loop apart. If you run into if you make a mistake, don't worry about it. You can always take the yarn back out. It's perfectly fine, and you can start again. So let's go ahead and do that again. Let's see here. I'm going to insert my hook right in that very bottom left square, go up under the bar above and push it all the way through until that latch comes through too. Then I'll go ahead and pull it down a little bit, I think, and let it start pulling up. And then I'm going to wrap my yarn around the hook. Now, some people like to wrap their yarn around the hook before they insert it in the square. You can absolutely give that a try. I think it's a little fiddly because then I'm trying to hold it and insert it at the same time, but everybody does it their own way. So I'm just going to scooch that yarn up. Try if I can get the right angle here. Up the latch hook. There we are. You can see it's over the latch itself, and now it's completely enclosed in that hook. So I can let go of it and just pull right back through. You just want to make sure to get both those ends through that loop and give them a good firm tug. And that is the basic latch hook maneuver. So then you go back to your chart and go to the next square. We're just going to work all the way across. That first row is how you do it. The second one is the same color. So we grab another one of those darker blues. And I'll see if I can do it right now. I know, like I say, a lot of people like to do it beforehand, so I'll see if I can do it before I insert it. And you can try it both ways and see what you like. I'm going to put the yarn over the hook, get it about even here. Then I'm going to find that very next square right there. Insert my hook in there, keep a hold of that yarn, go up under the bar. Oop, there we are. Make sure you get that latch up there. And if you need to turn it the other way, you can do that. If you are left-handed, that might be easier to have it going that direction. I'm right-handed, so it definitely is not. But you just want to do your best. There we go. And get that yarn right in there so it's caught inside. So it just closes through right as you pull down on the hook itself. Pull up through and give those yarns a tug. So if you find yourself struggling with this technique, again, like I say, practice is great. And if you've got practice yarn, you can practice with a little bit longer pieces. I think with the shorter pieces, it is a little bit more difficult. So if you, like I say, take some scrap yarn, find a square that's not going to be involved in your project, and cut a little bit longer pieces and start practicing with those, it might be a little bit easier. So now that I've done a couple of those, Lillian, are there any questions right away?
We seem to be following along pretty well.
Fantastic.
A couple of people asked if your kit came in a box.
I'm sorry?
A couple of people asked if your kit came in a box.
Yes, this kit came in the box. Yes, for those who didn't see it there at the beginning, this is the Wonderart Kit for the puppy. Here you can see what it looks like when it's all finished. If we go through all those, you can see right here where that dark blue line is. Those are the ones we're adding right now. So this is an 8x8-inch kit. It is rated a beginner. Like I say, it's only, we've got a nice big grid here, but there are some really complicated and beautiful ones you can do as well. Basically, that's it. Yep, it all comes in the kit, the box itself. That includes the canvas, the instructions, and the yarn. You do need to provide the latch hook yourself. So let's do some more of these here. Looks like if we come to our instructions, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of those dark blues. So we'll keep adding those. You guys can keep seeing just how that works here. The yarn does want to stick together tonight. It must be a little dry down here. Need to add some humidity. So we just continue working across our squares. We're going to get that centered again here. So hopefully get a good view. Push that hook right on up. I like to pull it, since these are a little bit shorter, I'm going to pull that down so that it catches like that. Then I'm going to put my yarn right around. And I can see where this might actually be where having the curved handle might be a little easier. It gives me a little more space right there to add my yarn. I was thinking there wasn't much of a difference, but that might be the big difference. So I'm just going to pull that right on up my yarn, or my hook rather. Lay it over that latch so it just closes right on up as you pull down, and pull it right on through. Now this is also a great technique if you are a knitter or crocheter and you want to add a little bit of fringe or tassels. This is essentially the same technique you would use to add those to a project as well. So if you have a latch hook, you could even use it to do that adding on to your project. There we are. So there's 3 of them. So you can see pretty good there. And we could just keep going across the straight like the instructions say, but I want to see how it works out when we've got a few rows together. So we're going to break the rules. We're going to come up here and start on row 2. Now the first one is that dark blue again. But now to do row 2, you can see here where we went into that square right there for row 1. We're just going to come up to that next square right there on top. So get my hook turned around here since I'm right-handed. And just make sure as you push it through that latch gets pushed down. So then you can start it back up a little. Then I'll get my yarn back on my hook. Pull it right up the length of the hook. Oop, that closed it a little too soon. That's all right. We'll just pull it right back down. Let's see. It's easy enough to do. It's kind of hard to get it really close up there on camera. There we go. So now when I pull down on the latch hook, that just closes that latch right up. And pull through again. There we go. Give those a tug. Oh, there we go. And then we get to add some color. Next one we're going to be doing is this, let's see, looking at my chart, this would be the lighter blue. Threw me off. The white square was throwing me off. Here we are. There, that is this square on this chart right there. That is our dusty blue, our lighter blue from our kit. There we are. So now we go ahead and add that one. So it helps sometimes to sort of pat it down out of the way. This way if you're left-handed, this way if you're right-handed. So you can see exactly where that next square is. And I think the neat thing about latch hook is whenever I look at the grid, I think, oh my gosh, there's no way that the yarn is actually going to fill that. But it really does. It really does create a really full, beautiful look. And there are so many fun things that you can do with your latch hook kits. Let me get this one going there. There we go. Get that nice and centered. Pull that down. And I was seeing some questions. Once in a while, you'll run into some kits where they are pre-printed on the canvas, but they aren't always. So it's always good to know how to read the instructions. If they are pre-printed, that's super handy, right? But I love this because too, when you've got these blank grids like this, once you get the hang of latch hooking, you could absolutely design your own projects. It's basically another form of pixel art in a way. So if I come back to my instructions, I know I need another light blue one here. So I'm just going to push those down out of the way and get my hook in and push that up and get my yarn under here and pull it on through. Now, this is a really great project for, like I say, for kids, for adults. You don't need any special skills here, just the same move over and over again, and you can do some really fun things. There is a fantastic blog post on the Yarn Inspirations website that I happen to know Lillian helped put together, and it really has some great ideas for what to do with your latch hook kits once you have them finished. You can do so many fun things. You can make wall hangings, you can sew them together to make rugs, table runners, really. You could sew it to a front of a tote bag. The sky's the limit. And there are some finishing binding also available on Yarn Inspirations that I'll talk about here in a moment as well. So I've got my first 3 of my first 2 rows done here. So I want to come to the third one. So I want to check my graph, and it's the same as the previous row. So I'll add those, and then we'll give them a little fluff and see how well they are doing at filling in that grid. So I just want to keep going right along my grid here, matching up what's on the canvas and what's on the instructions. There we are. So if you guys have some cool ideas, if you've done latch hooking before, or you've just got some cool ideas of how you might want to use it, please, again, do share those in the comments as well. We love hearing of new ways to use the finished projects. There we are. All right. And then we've got 2 more of the light blue ones here before we give it our fluff. It's kind of one of those projects where sometimes you don't want to look at the whole. You almost want to surprise yourself with a big reveal. There we are. Pull that down, get it caught, pull it through. There we are. Always take the time to pull up on those ends. That's going to be really important. This rug yarn has a bit of texture to it, so it shouldn't pull back out, but you do want to go ahead and give it a really good tug before you move on. And then you have to fix your masking tape once in a while if it's not very sticky like this one. There we go. And we'll do one more, and then we'll try fluffing it up here. So we'll go right under there. Get that latch up there and make sure it's catching. Get our yarn on there. Pull it right on up. Oop. Get it in there. There we are. Can you see that? Right in between. Then I pull down on the hook and it just closes right up. I think latch hooking is genuinely the craft that probably made me fall in love with yarn crafts in general. It was one of the first ones that I was allowed to do as a kid, where my mom knew I couldn't hurt myself and she knew how to do it to teach me. And so it's got a special place in my heart ever since. There we are. So now we've got our little 3x3 grid. And if we give it a fluff, you can see, you really can't see through where that yarn's attached. It really does fill in all on its own there. So there you go. Really beautiful. There we are. So when you have finished your project, when you've worked all the way up and all the way down, then, like I say, there's lots of possibilities. And depending on what you want to do with your project, that will affect how you want to finish it off. But of course, you can go ahead and take the masking tape off when that happens, and you don't have to leave that on forever. One of the products that Yarn Inspiration sells that I don't happen to have with me today, but I thought I wanted to tell you about, is that they have a binding. Basically, it's a wide ribbon product. It's not sparkly like this. It's much more subtle, much more appropriate to a rug. This just happened to be wide ribbon that I had laying around the house. But after you have finished off your kit, what you're probably going to want to do, unless you're sewing a bunch together or you were maybe sewing them to something else, if you want to finish it off for a wall hanging or a rug, what you want to do is trim off the excess, but leave a little bit around your design. So on our design, you can see here, it is 2 full grids plus a little bit of a third. So probably right about there, you'd want to trim it off, leaving a couple rows. And then you would take a sewing needle and thread and just wrap that yarn right over the edge there, like so. And then you can sew right between those grids. It doesn't have to be fancy, but you just sew right between those grids so that it goes through both sides of that ribbon. And that will give you a really nice finished edge. The binding, I believe, is sort of like I want to say a cotton twill, it looks like, but it's much more appropriate than the sparkly gold stuff I've got right here. This is, like I say, just what I happen to have on hand to sort of demo that. So you could use that to bind it off if you want that finished off all by itself, or then, like I say, you could actually stitch them together and stitch different kits together, stitch a bunch of the same kit together, and really create your own unique work of art. So were there any other questions I could answer before we get back to adding more strings here?
Yeah, Ronnie asks, how well do floss stitching charts work for latch hook?
I think that would work beautifully. I mean, yeah, if you do any sort of cross stitching or diamond art, then you're probably familiar with this type of grid. So I think you could take anything gridded like this. Honestly, you could probably take some of those pixel graph cans. If you're a crocheter or a knitter, you might know what I'm talking about. Anything that is pixelated like this, you could absolutely turn into a latch hook design. So it's fun to start with a kit, especially, you know, so you've got that beautiful picture. And oh my gosh, there's one in particular that I always think of. It's, I don't know if, I don't know if you can link it, but there's one with a lion on it that's just, it's amazing. And then there's a really neat one that almost reminds me of an old Dutch master.
Oh, all right. I'll take a look and drop the links in the chat.
Oh, good. Yeah, there's some really beautiful ones. So I'm just going to continue now that we've cheated a little bit to see how the fluff works up. I'll continue on across here for my row 1. And again, but that's really honestly it. It is an incredibly easy technique. It just takes a little bit of getting used to. One thing I do like to do now that you've got the basics down is if you kind of turn that hook a little bit, sometimes it's easier to get it through if it wants to catch. But you just pull that on through. So if there's any particular moves or sections that anybody wants to see again, please do let us know in the chat. Because yeah, that's the great thing about latch hook. It's not terribly complicated. If you lose your place in your chart, you can push them up and just count those grids. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4 made. So now I know I'm on, fold it out all the way here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and that's the next one. So you can just always keep referencing back to your chart. So I'm curious, were there any other ideas people had for how to use the latch hooks? Again, share your ideas in the comments if you've got them.
Yeah, I would love to know what people could make with them afterwards. I'll drop that link to the blog article again as well, so people can see how to make all sorts of things from rugs to wall hangings.
Absolutely. Like I say, I think it'd be a lot of fun, you know, on the front of a tote bag or something like that, or a project bag. And once you've got the yarns and everything all sorted, you can definitely kind of grab your tray or whatever you've got them sorted into and take them all around the house. You know, let the kids do a couple, and then when they get tired of them, you can take it back. That always seemed to be, I don't think I ever finished one when I was a kid. I think I did a few of my mom's here and there when she would let me. There we are. But on the other hand, I think if I had had one this size, I would have completed it as a kid, because I think my mom's were mighty big. There we are. Go through again. But yeah, absolutely. Anything that's in a grid, anything pixelated. You know, there's lots of kids pixel art. If you want to do something with your kids, I could totally see this working with Minecraft. I don't know about you guys. My kids are still into Minecraft, so that's always great for pixel inspiration. And you can absolutely get a kit. If it's got the right colors, use some of the yarn in your own stash and mix it up, and use the kit from your inspirations as a great start as well. So let's see, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I push those up, I can count how many of those I've got. And we'll do one more of these dark blues. And if anybody needed to see again what to do if you do make a mistake, I can absolutely demo that as well again. But otherwise, that's about it. There we go. Pull that down, get that over. It's one of those things where it's really, really awkward, I think, at first, but the more you do it, Genuinely, you know, the quicker it gets. I think by the time you finish the first row, it's likely to be a lot less awkward. Now, once in a while, you'll end up with one a lot shorter. I'm going to see if I can give that one an extra tug. Yes. And that evens it right back out. So if one of your ends comes out a little short, just start pulling on that one before you pull on the too long one. And that usually evens them out quite a bit. There we are. So got our great little first row here, our first 7. Now it's time for the black square, which I'm guessing is going to be the black yarn, but always want to double check. Yep. Got our black yarns right here. Don't need to check that one. I know what that looks like. I'm going to go ahead and get that centered on there again. It does take up a little bit of space. You'll want to have, you know, some room on the couch for you, next to you for the yarn, or a table in front of you. But otherwise, it is good to go. So there we go. All right. Pull that through. And I saw somebody had a strange question, but I didn't catch what it was.
Yeah, Susan asks, when you finish, do you trim anything or just sort of fluff it?
That is going to be personal preference. I would personally just fluff, but I'm one of those people who, no matter how much I trim my pom-poms, they always end up a little crazy. So I would probably end up, you know, doing the same thing I did when I tried to cut my bangs when I was a teen, and just keep cutting and cutting and cutting. But, you know, if you've got those skills to cut a straight line, then you could absolutely trim it up if you like. So now we've got our first new color there added onto that one. And you can always come back to and check your place on your grid. I can see I've got 2 more squares here before I hit that blue line. And we're good to go. We've got 2 more squares there before we hit that blue line.
I actually didn't realize that, so I'm so glad that you pointed it out. It's very helpful.
Yeah.
We do have a question here. Cynthia asks, why do you start from the bottom?
Well, first of all, that is what the instructions say to do. But it is easier, I think, to see where you're at, and you can kind of count out those grids. But if you're more comfortable starting from a different corner, you absolutely could. I just do recommend that you start in a corner so that you can get it all lined up, because it's really easy to think you've counted it out, like, you know, exactly the right thing, and then to accidentally put it in the wrong spot. And you don't want to have to keep offsetting that every row. I mean, you could. It's not the end of the world, but it just makes it a little bit more difficult. And plus, too, I like starting at the bottom, so then I can sort of just fold them up and really see each of those grid marks as I go. You can see from the top, it also works. Right there, you can still count each one of those little grids. So really, it's just personal preference. I think it might be a little easier going this way. I think if you came down from the top, you might have more of a likelihood to catch those yarns worked above, but I'm not sure. You know what? Let's try it out. I'm going to grab a random one. I'm going to grab a green here. I'm going to go off script and try it out right underneath. Let's try adding one underneath here and see how that goes. See what happens. See if things get in the way. I'm going to go ahead and get that through like I normally would here. Get my yarn on there. Get that around. Okay. And let's see. Yeah, it's not a problem. So it isn't getting in my way or anything like that. So I would say wherever you want to start is totally fine. I just do, like I say, I recommend you start in a corner so you don't lose your place. And now we'll demo again how to pull it out if you've made a mistake, or you have a practice one on your grid you want to get rid of. I'm just going to, let's see, that green's showing up real dark there on camera, isn't it? See if I can get that in there in focus a little better. There we go. So you see that loop? When we pulled those ends on up through, that's the loop. And that's what we want to just get our needle or our whatever tool you've got handy, and just start lifting on that until it loosens it up. And then you can either keep pulling on those, you can just pull the little ends out, and then you can pull that whole piece of yarn right out, and no harm, no foul. Set it aside until you are ready for that color. So continuing on our grid here, after our black one, we can see, I'm guessing it's going to be green, looking at what I've got available, but we want to check. Green triangle, yep, Kelly green, and I've only got the one green in this kit. So is there anything else I can answer here while I continue on across our row 1?
Yes, Kathy asks, if you put this on some type of frame, would it be easier to manipulate?
You know, that's a great question. I don't have a frame to try it out with, so I've never done it like that. I don't know if having the grid held taut would make it more difficult or not, to be honest. Kind of like the other thing, I'd have to try it out. Let me see if I can do, let's see, next one's green too, so I'll grab another green and see if I held it really flat. It might not hurt. It might not hurt to have it on a frame. I don't know that there are frames made specifically for this, but then again, there might be.
Yeah, you could maybe try like a large embroidery hoop or something
yeah,
like that and see.
Yeah, a large embroidery hook. I just wouldn't get it too tight. I wouldn't want to skew the grid at all, the canvas. I wouldn't want it to get warped, would be my main thing. Which I think if you do embroidery, you know, can happen with embroidery fabric as well. Always a risk. So sort of the same thing. It's a bit thicker, but it is tough enough that I think it would handle being an embroidery hoop okay. I don't think it would hurt it at all, as long as you don't, you know, pull it too tight so that you skew that grid in any way.
It's one of those, give it a try to find out things, isn't it?
If you've got one laying around, absolutely give it a whirl. See if you like it.
Let us know. Yeah.
yeah, let us know. Absolutely. Kind of like the muffin tin. Use what you've got laying around and see how it works. There we are. Oop. I always pull that down a little too soon. There we go. Get that laid over and right on through. Yeah, I was practicing with some scrap yarn, hence the pulling it out technique before this evening. I wanted to start with a fresh kit with you guys, but even after that practice the other night, just coming back and doing this row, I feel myself getting far more used to it again already. So it really is, like I say, it's a little awkward at first, but once you've got that first row done, I really think you'll have the hang of it. So what else can I answer? Oops.
Cynthia asks, have you tried laying your yarn on the mat and pulling it through that way?
Lay your yarn on the mat and pull it through that way. Trying to think what that would look like. Oh, I think maybe. Well, we'll see. I think I know what you mean, but if not, this is how I'm interpreting it. Lay my yarn on the mat and then put the hook through. That might actually be pretty great. I like it. That is a great tip. Thank you. Who was that? Lillian?
Cynthia.
Cynthia.
Thanks,
Thank you, Cynthia. That does not work too bad. There we are. I like it. I don't know if it'll work as well after this first row, but maybe if you went from the top down, then you might. Again, give it a try. It's there's no right or wrong way to hold your latch hook or anything like that. You know, if I'm holding it in a way that's awkward for you, you hold it in a way that's comfortable for you. You can do it left-handed. Like say, you might want to face the hook the other direction or away from the other yarns you're adding or towards them. Play with it. See what's most comfortable for you. You can see here, once I've got a few of them, I always like to go back and just give that little extra tug and make sure they're all nice and tight. So thank you for sharing that. That was good. Let's try that one again. Let's see if I can. So yeah, you can loop the yarn around the hook first too if you want. For me, it was a little more awkward, but again, personal preference. Try it different ways. I'm going to try it again, laying the yarn down first. I kind of like that. It was right there because the rug yarn is a little more textured, so it isn't sliding away on me. It's right there. I like that. A little noisy maybe as I drop that hook on the table. Sorry about that. But I do like that technique. That is a great one. There we are. Pull that on through. Alrighty. So I saw a question pop up, how best to wash these. There are instructions. Let me see if I can get this on camera if it's a little too close. Ooh, they're on the bottom of your kit. It's a little hard to see because I've got my camera so close you can see the latch hooking. But there is instructions included there. It says hand wash or dry clean. So, I mean, I don't think the water itself would be an issue, but if you threw it in the washing machine and dryer, I think the agitation would risk some of those yarns coming undone. So spot clean, ideally, if you can. Otherwise, I would say I would just submerge it gently in water, a little bit of agitation, and then let it air dry and give it another little fluff. So we've got, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of our greens there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got, looks like 4 more to go. Get some more greens from my tin here. So any other questions? Oop, I forgot to put it down first.
Nancy asks, can you show us what a finished project looks like fluff-wise?
Well, I don't have a finished project with me here. I just had the one kit, so like I said, I wanted to save it a little bit today. But you can see, I did do the first three stitches, the first three latch hooks, whatever you want to call them, the first three yarns of the first three rows. So you get an idea there of what that looks like. You can see from the side, get that to focus there. You can see it is pretty solid. You don't really, like I say, you don't see that grid through there. And you could trim that down shorter if you'd like, or you can leave it nice and long. Absolutely. And yeah, it is a great segue from cross stitching. It is using basically that same idea, just in another way. So how do you hide the blue line grid on the bottom? Well, you wouldn't be able to see it from this side. I realize we haven't worked over one of those yet, have we? But we have actually right there. So you can see right there when the yarn's on there, if I cover up those other two rows like they were covered in yarn, you're not going to be able to see the blue grid line from the top. You will always be able to see it from the bottom, but you're always going to be able to see the grid from the bottom. That's one thing I haven't done, have I? I haven't turned it over yet. This is what it looks like from the bottom, just to give you an idea. So this could be another thing. If you're getting really confused and lost, might be helpful to turn over your work if you need to count out some of those rows. Just remember to start from the other end. But you can see here, we'll always see those blue grid lines there on the bottom. But then when you finish up your project, again, depending on how you want to finish it, you would take that binding tape right there, and you can cover that up right up to the edge of your yarn when you sew that binding on to finish off your project as well. So yeah, you can see right there, it's pretty well hidden. You don't see that blue grid line once that yarn's on there at all. So yes, there are lots of fantastic links in the chat if you haven't been to the chat yet. There are some really gorgeous kits on your inspirations. Like I say, everything and at Michael's, I should say, everything from, super kid friendly things like this puppy thing like this puppy, to some really, really complex designs. I would probably start with one of these if you haven't done it before. There we are. Give that one a good tug. And we just keep working our way across. This is definitely sort of a meditative craft, but it's also, I would say, great for movie night. If you are one of those people who likes to keep your hands moving, has trouble just, sitting there watching TV. I'm definitely one of those. That's how I got started as an adult. I got back into crafting. I found that in the evenings, I did not like to just sit with my hands idle. Now I need to check my grid here and see. So we can count how many we have, or we can look at our grid and see there's 2 more before that next grid line. So that's those 2. So I've got 1 more green. And did I see a question pop up there? I just get little glimpses, so I can never read the whole thing.
Yeah. Eva asks, do you hand sew the edges, and have you tried it with machine?
Every tutorial I've seen so far has shown them hand sewn. Mm-hmm. I would worry about the machine, the type of machine you have. My sewing machine is a definitely lower end consumer model. So I don't know that my machine could handle it. Just because I wouldn't want to break the needles on the grid, on the canvas itself, or heaven forbid, break the canvas. So like I say, all the tutorials I've seen are hand sewn. If you wanted to risk it with your machine, you can give it a try. Just maybe I'd go real slow. I wouldn't do it real fast. Kind of like when you're sewing with a lot of pins. I would just take my time going across there. Mm-hmm. So we can see, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just going to say, I know on the article, the how-to article that we put together, we recommended like folding over the edge and then whip stitching it. Yeah. So I've dropped that into the blog if people want to have a look there. Great. Excellent. Yeah, there's lots of great resources there in those blog posts for finishing off your project and what you can do with them when they're done. There we are. So that you can see right there.
because our kit's a little smaller. It's actually a little bit bigger than life size. But we're just matching right along there. The blue, the black, the green, the black, and we're ready for some more blues. We're almost at the end of row 1. Just need to remember to use the darker blue, not the lighter blue. There we go. Let's see. So definitely add that yarn to your latch hook whenever, at whatever point in the process you're comfortable with it. Get out of there. That one wants to come into my space. There we go. And then hold that latch hook however's most comfortable for you. I prefer to hold mine like this, but I have seen actually people do it like this. Looks a little uncomfortable to me, but again, whatever feels good in your hand. Yeah, and this is a Susan Bates latch hook. I'll pull up here for those who came in a little later. This one has a crooked neck, which I'm finding I actually really like because of the way I like to add the yarn. This one is straight. Again, just personal preference, whichever style works best for you. If you've got whichever one you've got at home, I'm sure will do the trick. And if you need to get one, you can sort of decide after maybe practicing a little bit what style you might prefer. There we are. Oh, here we go. All right, there we got it. And pull it on and through. There we are. But you can do a lot of creative things with these. Of course, not only the way you finish them off, but you could, you can see we've got a lot of extra grid around here. You could get, once we've finished this off, we're going to have at least a whole nother section. You could get more additional yarn, go over to the yarn aisle, pick up some more yarn that coordinates, make it a bigger scene, add your own touches. Again, it's a pixelated grid, so you can have a lot of fun customizing them however you'd like. I guess, I'm a big person on customization. My primary craft is crochet. So one of my favorite things about crochet is how much you can make it just for you. And I think you can do the same thing with latch hook. You can easily add a couple extra rows with some more yarn or substitute in a different color. Like if you were making, for instance, our personal family pet is a white little dog. And if I wanted to, I could take some of my other yarn and make, his face white, change some of the colors around here, and really make this puppy look like our own little puppy. So that is another creative thing you could do. What else do you have for me, Lillian?
There's a question here asking, Kendra asks, would you recommend completing one grid at a time?
You could. I think, the instructions say to make the whole first row before you go to the second row. But I think once you've started in that first corner and you've sort of got it established, you can move off wherever you like. I know sometimes, again, it's kind of like doing a jigsaw puzzle or a cross stitch or, anything other where you're basically working in sort of little dots like that. Sometimes you want to take off in a little directions just so you can get a different color and do something different. Absolutely. We already did those first 3 rows over the first 3 rows over here. If you wanted to go ahead and just do it a grid at a time, you could do that, or you could go row by row. If you move around and decide to jump around, that's when I would recommend that you grab, a pen or a marker or a highlighter and mark off those ones that you have done, just so you don't get, too confused about where you left off. Even an 8x8 grid like this, it is relatively small. If you were a very quick latch hooker, you could maybe finish it in an evening, but you're probably going to need to put this down and come back to it. So whatever you do, however you're doing it, make a note, if you're not just following it straight across, make a note or something so that you know right where you are, so that you don't have to, turn it over too much and count it out to figure out exactly where you were. So I've only got 5 minutes left. I can keep going here, but do we have any other questions I can answer while I add some more of my squares?
We're sharing latch hook related stories.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. Christina said her mum started a rug kit when she was pregnant with her, and it was almost 36 years ago, and she never finished it, and she ended up giving it away. So when she heard that Christina was doing a beginner class, she laughed.
Aw. My mom probably would too. I'll admit I did go back and watch a couple videos myself just to refresh my own memory, but it did come right back. And I hope if you've got a kit or a little bit of, canvas and yarn in front of you and you're trying out, Christina, it's coming back for you too. It's amazing just how quickly that little motion comes right back. Now, I ran out of my blue yarn. I didn't sort out enough on my yarns when we started, so.
Susan also said that her sister laughed when she was talking about the class because they did it when they were young. And I think it is one of those crafts that, everyone has such lovely memories from their childhood and things.
Oh, absolutely. It is such a great beginner yarn craft. If you've got, you want to share that love of yarn crafting with your kids, latch hooking is absolutely a great place to start. Let's see.
We have a question here from Kathy asking, can you put glue on the bottom to hold the yarn pieces in?
Yeah, I don't see a reason why you couldn't. I mean, I would recommend that you take, one of these little extra corners that is not going to be in your project and, maybe some scrap yarn or something and do a little corner and try it out just to make sure that you know how much to add so that you don't add too much. You don't want it to bleed through to the front here, but you could absolutely add something to the back. If you use something like a school glue, that would be water soluble. But if you were using it as a rug, what you might want to try out is one of those non-skid paint-on backings. That might be a lot of fun too. I don't know any of the brand names off the top of my head, unfortunately, but there are some things you can sort of paint on right on the back of different projects. I've recommended them before for other yarn projects, usually crochet or knit, but I don't see a reason why that wouldn't work on here either. Like I say, I would just always test out, that little extra corner to make sure, how much to use and make sure, that you aren't going to have some weird reaction with the particular yarn or anything and that particular product. There's so many different products out there on the market you could try. Because of this grid and adding the binding, it would also, when you add that binding around the edge, again, this is a sparkly one, not the official one, but when you add that, it would also be an opportunity, if you wanted to go ahead and sew on a layer of rug backing onto the back. They've got those big non-slip sheets you can get. You could absolutely kind of basically hold that on the back as you go through and make that binding. Can you cut the extra off? You can cut up to a point, but you really want to have some sort of binding around the edge. You just don't want this grid. Here, if I pull it up, let me move some things here so I can get a little closer to the camera. If you look at the real close there's the edge of it. It stays together pretty well. You can see it's, the masking tape didn't affect it at all, but I would worry that with time that those would start to loosen up a little bit. And I would hate for your project to, all come apart. And the binding just gives it a really nice finished edge too. It looks nice and, keeps it from getting caught and poking into other things. So let me get my little tape back on there. Anything else? It's almost time to go. Is there anything else I can answer, Lillian?
Let me take a look. Carol suggested using fusible to cover the back of the fabric.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I used to sew a lot more than I do now, but so yeah, that would be another great idea for absolutely. And then I saw another question that I didn't quite catch. I'm sorry, from Christina. Right there.
Yeah, Christina asks, are the edges supposed to lay flat or stand up?
The edges of the yarn should stand up. You can see that's one of the reasons it's sort of these short little lengths. If you, wanted to do it with longer lengths of yarn, then you might want to trim it up, but this yarn has some pretty good standing up to it. Rug yarn is a little stiffer, so it's got some good stand up edge to it. Stands up on its own. I can't think of the right words. I don't know if there's official words to describe it, but you can see here, if I hold the grid sort of sideways, it really stands up away from the canvas. Right there. So that should give a good view there. So I guess we can go ahead and come back to the other camera since it's 7 o'clock. All right, I'll go ahead and move that out of the way. But anyway, I just wanted to say thank you again so much for joining us. This is, let me grab that box, the Wonderart Latch Hook Kit. You can get these at Michael's. There's lots of great designs, not just this puppy, so many really, really fun things. Everything from unicorns to, beautiful scenes that that would be family heirlooms for years to come. So do check those out. Lillian, was there anything you wanted to add?
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for joining us today for this live community classroom with Michaels. Don't forget to share your work with #MakeUpWithMichaels and #Inspirations. And just a reminder, you can find more classes on michaels.com and the recording of today's class at michaels.com/classes. Thanks everyone, and thanks Tamara.
All right. Thanks so much. Have a great night, everybody.